All right, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am glad to be back today. So, we're going to talk about the alignment between sales and a high level book.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Womack. I'm a wife, a mother, I'm a woman of God, and I am a trendsetter. I help authors, speakers, and coaches stand out as subject matter authorities on their topic and in their industry. And I do this by helping them to write and self-publish a best-selling book, and then I teach them how to turn their book into programs, courses, and premium priced coaching communities.
And one of the reasons why we're talking about this today is because oftentimes when people think about sales, a book doesn't come to mind, right? Like typically when people think about writing a book, or when someone thinks about, having a book in their business, they immediately start thinking, "Oh, I want to share my story. Oh, I want to share my life experiences, this, that, and the third." Typically, usually, when it comes to thought leaders, when it comes to high earning entrepreneurs, when it comes to experts, they don't initially equate writing a book with sales. And that is because of the image that I believe that it's because of the image that has been placed in our minds about what authors look like, you know, and how they should act. And oftentimes most people who write books are not focused on sales. They're all about the craft. They're all about the story. They're all about everything else except for promoting, except for marketing, except for monetizing their book. And so, as a result, what ends up happening is that you have these people out here who write books, or they have books, and they have all this passion for everything that they're doing, but they're not really making a lot of impact with the products that they've created. And so, my goal here today is to really teach you all about the alignment between having a high quality book and making sales, because especially in this current economic landscape, especially with things happening what many of us feel are beyond our control, right? You need a way to generate income that's not going to be, that's not going to be controlled by anyone else. You need a way to generate income that can't just be shut off, or the funding can't be cut off, or anything like that, right? You need a way to secure your financial future. And I believe that entrepreneurship, even with its risk, is that key for all of us, right? And so there's a such thing as the knowledge economy. So let's talk about it, because a lot of people will come to me and they'll say, "Jasmine, can you help me write my children's book? Can you do this?" And I'm like, "I don't do that. I work with experts. I work with leaders, right? Who are elevating and amplifying their voices, who are self-publishing in the true sense of self-publishing, meaning that they are packaging and compressing their ideas into products, into offers to sell them. And in that process, they are also transforming into a new version of themselves. Because when you want to do anything that you've never done before, it requires you to be a different person. It requires you to do different things. It requires you to show up differently. It requires you to make different levels of investments, whether that's financially, whether that's an investment of your time, so on and so forth. All right. That's what I do. And so the exact type of books that I work with, first of all, I work with experts. These are people, you know what you're doing. Like, you are in leadership positions. You are an executive. And I also work with high earning business owners, because you are an expert at your craft. You've been working at the thing that you do for, at this point, years, for decades, many of you, and you know it like the back of your hand. And you have put in your time, you've put in your energy doing it for your organizations, or operating in that skill set that you've either gone to school for, or you've had some professional development over the years. to really, really hone, right? Like you have a proven skill set and you have results in your industry. But let me tell you something. You can take that same skill set and make it work for you. But it's not just taking the skill set and making it work for you. It's creating an arm of your business in the online education industry. And the way that you do that is by creating what we call thought leadership books, which is where you're publishing your thoughts, your strategies, your systems for success, right? Thought leadership books. You're publishing live events. You're publishing workshops, right? You're publishing courses. You're publishing high-level coaching programs. You're publishing consulting offers. When we talk about self-publishing, we really need to start thinking about what it is in its totality, because it's not just limited to books. Okay. Now, I operate in what I call the knowledge economy. I don't work with authors who want to write memoirs, who want to write all about their stories, who want to write children's books. I do believe that there's a space in that industry, and there's a space for people who do that and who want to do more of that. It's just not with me. I'm very, very clear on that. But in the knowledge economy, where you are selling information, you're packaging your information and you are selling it. Okay. One of the things that I absolutely love about doing business in the knowledge economy is something that my mother told me a very long time ago. And she said, once you know something, nobody can ever take that away from you. When you know something like the back of your hand, that's something that nobody can ever take away from you. When you have developed a skill set, that's something that nobody can ever take away from you. When you are used to and when you know how to help other people get results, that alone, because a lot of people have information, a lot of people have knowledge, but not everybody has the skill set of communicating their knowledge and transferring it to someone else to help them get a result. That alone is a skill set. And that's something that nobody can ever take away from you. So I don't care what happens. You will always be able to grow. You will always be able to build. So in the knowledge economy, where you are selling your information, when you are packaging your skill sets into products such as books, ebooks, audiobooks, right? Into offers, coaching programs, workshops, and events. These are things that you own. These are things that you can, when you have the system to put it together, to create it, to produce it, to execute it, you literally own it. It cannot be shut down. It cannot be stripped of funding from external sources because it's privately owned. You know why? It's owned by you. There is no cap of the income that you can make. There's no cap. And every time I see somebody say, well, I don't have time. I want to do this, but I don't have time. That means that you just really want to stay where you are. Because in the knowledge economy, knowledge is infinite. And there's always going to be a need for information. Now, yes, you might have to up-level the information that you share, but literally, there's no cap on the income that you can make. There's no cap on the level of impact that you can make. And I will say this, in the knowledge economy, the income that you make is directly tied to your audience. So this means, number one, when you want to be successful with selling intellectual property, that's what you're doing. You're packaging your intellectual property. You're putting it into systems. You're packaging it and compressing it into products that people can quickly read or learn or study and implement to get a result. It's that your success is directly tied to your audience. So in the knowledge economy, when you want to grow the branch of your business in the knowledge economy, this means that you have to do either one of two things. You have to build your audience, or you have to connect with decision makers or influencers who can bring you in front of their audience. Either way, it's going to take work. And there's this misconception especially when it comes to entrepreneurship. There's this misconception, especially when it comes to writing a book and growing your brand and business, that all you have to do is write the book. Absolutely not. Because you know what? After you write the book, if you want to make true impact, you actually have to sell the book. This means that you have to get in front of a group of people, or you have to create a group or a community of fans, a group or a community of people who align with your values, or they're interested in what you're teaching because they have some type of challenge that they can't get through on their own. And so now they're coming to you to move through it, to get the solution. So when you are building your business in the knowledge economy, this is a necessity. You've either got to, again, build your own audience, or you've got to connect with other people who have access to audiences, meaning that either one, they're an influencer, they've built their audience, or number two, they're a decision maker and they have access to groups of people in schools and organizations and companies, and they can bring you in front of them. It's one of the two. Both of them are going to take, a marketing efforts. Both of them is going to require you to understand your messaging. Both of those methods is going to require you to solve a problem and be able to clearly communicate that problem that you solve. There's no way around it. So this means that you have to be willing to get in the business growth game. This means that you got to be willing to get in the sales game, right? And you've got to build that muscle and that skill set. It just is what it is. And some of you all may be used to selling services or selling coaching programs. But then when it comes to having a book and selling a book, now you're selling a physical product that requires shipping and that requires distribution. And so the strategy is going to be a little bit different. However, both require you to launch. So there is an absolute alignment between making sales and writing a high level book, because you literally cannot do one without the other. You can't do one without the other. Okay. And this is one of the reasons why I'm hosting and I'm teaching everything in my upcoming workshop: write your book, grow your brand, monetize your expertise. This is one of the reasons why I'm teaching this. And in this workshop, I'm teaching the connection between your book, brand growth, development and expansion, and monetization, because it's all intertwined. I cannot tell y'all how many times I hear people who say, you know what? I wrote a book, it didn't get sales, right? I want X, Y, and Z results, but there was no intentional effort. There was no intentional effort put into the marketing, into the brand growth and development. I think that somebody tagged me on an Instagram post the other day, and it was an influencer. They had about 100,000 followers, and she had paid some company like 70 grand to release her book, but she didn't market it. And so she was doing this live stream talking about how self-publishing was a waste of time and money. I was like, no, boo. I've had clients that made $250,000 in a year from their book and their related events and services, because they had a plan. I'm like, you had the audience, you just didn't have a plan. Like, how do you expect to write a book, but then you don't market it? And the misconception is that even if you even if you go under contract with a traditional publisher, then they're going to market your book. No. Even if you get in advance, that is not how that works. Even in the traditional publishing space, you are going to be, they publish the book. That's why they're called publishers. They don't market it for you. So even in the traditional publishing space, even when you sign over your rights for them to publish and distribute your book, you still are the face of the brand, and you still have to have a PR strategy and a monetization strategy and a plan to execute and actually spread your message and get out there and talk about what it is you do. and promote your product. I have collaborated with New York Times bestselling authors. I've coached in their programs, right? I have done a lot of one-on-one coaching behind the scenes with traditionally published authors, or authors who have gotten these book deals and they have no clue what to do. And so I work with them on strategizing their content. I've worked with them on mapping out their monetization plan. I've worked with them on fine-tuning their messaging up front so that by the time their books come out and by the time they get into the marketing and launch, all of their messaging across all their platforms align, and they actually have created a body of work to help substantiate and support the work that they are promoting that they do. I'm not telling you something that I think. I'm telling you about what I know because of the work that I do day in and day out. And if you want to capitalize, like there's no I don't listen, I'm gonna tell y'all this, because there's a lot of people on the internet that are in their feelings. And I'm not saying you don't have a right to feel the way that you feel, but it's a lot of people on the internet that have spent hours or days crying, complaining, talking about all the things, really caught up in all of the mental and emotional chaos that's going on. Let me tell you this right now. There is no other time better than now than to bet on yourself. There is no other time other than now than to get your ducks in a row and start really, really packaging your expertise and creating streams of income for yourself. If you have been on the fence, if you have been dragging your feet, if you have been playing around with it, this is your notice that you need to stop now and really, really tune in to your skill sets and your gifts and make it work for you. There's a direct alignment between sales and having a high level book. Now, I'll come back tomorrow to break down the components of a high level book and what makes a high level book that generates sales different from the average memoir or the average, I want to tell my story, or, just everybody that just they want to write a book because they think that they can write. But then when they create it, it's not making money for them and they don't know what to do with it and it's collecting dust. And now they feel like, just going to rush and write another one is going to be the best bet for them. And before you know it, now they've got 4, 5, 6, 7 books and they say, hey, I published 7 books, but you ask them how much they made. They haven't even made $1,000 in the past year. That's a problem. That's a problem. $1,000 is 50 books. You mean to tell me you can't sell 50 books in a year? No, you should be selling thousands of books in a year. Between your ebooks, between your physical books, between your audio books, especially if you're selling in bulk. But you have to know how to do that. Again, there's a direct connection between sales and a high level book. And that connection is your brand. Your brand is how you communicate your message. Your brand is how you build your audience or how you connect with other people or organizations who have audiences that they can bring you in front of. Having the book on its own is not enough. Having an idea on its own is not enough. And even if you have the book, even if you already have a book, it may not be written in a way that's going to generate sales. There's a direct connection between sales and your high level book. And it's that bridge that we call a brand. In your brand is your messaging. In your brand is understanding your audience. In your brand is your visibility. In your brand is your ability to articulate the challenges of your ideal reader and client. It's your ability to articulate the problem that you solve and how you help people to solve it. It's your ability to stand out among the noise. The bridge between sales and a high level book is your brand. And this is why I am teaching the Write Your Book, Grow Your Brand, Monetize Your Expertise workshop. So you can write a book and leverage your book to get media appearances, leveraging your book to secure podcast interviews, leveraging your book to create and monetize your own podcast. Those of you all who might already have a podcast, leveraging your book to secure speaking engagements, leveraging your book to secure coaching clients. And when I say coaching clients, I'm not talking about people that pay you a couple $100s for sessions. No, I'm talking about coaching clients who will invest upwards of 4, 5, or 6 figures to work with you because they read your book and because they came through a properly structured and designed book funnel that's really a sales funnel designed to convert them into your back end offers. Another misconception is that your book is going to take a long time for you to write it, especially if it's a high quality book. A misconception is that your book is not high quality unless it takes you a long time. Like I've literally had people come to me who said that they work with writing coach such and such who told them they needed to take at least 1 or 2 years to write your book. No, you can really have your book written and published in 6 weeks. Now, the marketing, the promotion, the monetization is going to take the rest of the year. It absolutely is, because you've got to have a strategic visibility plan, and that is not fly by night. You need to commit to promoting your message for a minimum of 1 year before, after that book comes out. But in terms of writing the book, I have a client now, Dr. Diaz. She is in my 12-month mastermind, the Authority Collective, and she came in December, mid-December, might I add. And now it's January 28th, and she literally just got the proof of her book in hand, and she put a picture of it in the group. Shouts out to Dr. Diaz, because she came in and did that thing. She was sharing on Threads. She was sharing her progress on Threads, what she was working on, how she was doing it. It's literally 5 weeks, and she went from idea to product in hand. So you cannot say that it's not possible. And she's helping. Her book is all about helping nonprofit leaders. It is possible when you have the proper step-by-step strategy. It is possible when you have the focus and the discipline to get it done. And when you show up to speak up for yourself and say, hey, I need some help with this. Hey, can you look over this and give me some feedback, which is things that she did. So no, you do not have to wait a whole entire year while you're writing your book to make sales. You need to have the concept of the book, and you need to have a sales strategy, and you can actually begin generating income from your book and even pre-selling coaching offers before it's released. But if you want to know that secret, if you want to know the breakdown, then you need to go to www.jasminewomack.com/book and brand. If you're on Instagram, even if you're on Facebook, you can comment brand underneath in the comments, and me and my team will come and give you the link. All right. There is alignment between sales and creating a high level book. And that bridge that's in the middle is called your brand. And let me tell you something. Running ads might make you more visible, but running ads and without a proper strategy, it's not brand building. You have to have a brand building strategy that's going to lead to some type of funnel if you're running ads. But ads alone is not a brand builder. It's a sales strategy. What you do from the ad can help you to grow your brand if you do it the right way and if you're consistent with it over time. Brand building is credibility. Brand building is acknowledgement. Brand building is visibility. Brand building is creating a perception in people's minds. They have a perception of you and your business from either hearing your message or seeing something that you created. It's the perception that you create in people's minds. What is it that people think about you, or what is it that you want people to think about you when they come in contact with your brand? You have to start thinking about that. Now, let me tell you this. Another mistake that a lot of authors tend to make when they come out with their books, they don't stick with it long enough. They launch it, it's released, the excitement is there, and then when the excitement wanes or goes away, Now it's like, okay, on to the next. That's not how brand building works. You've got to sit in that thing for a minute. You've got to massage it for a minute. You've got to have a process. You've got to promote the message of your book for an extended period of time. So you got to start asking yourself, and I'll talk about this more in the workshop, but what is your monetization strategy? What is your launch strategy? Just like when you're launching a coaching program, just like when you're launching an offer, you also have to launch a book. And that launch process will typically be a 4 to 8 week runway. It's going to take you 4 to 8 weeks to properly launch your book. And it goes beyond just posting about it every day. It goes beyond that. How are you amplifying your visibility? How are you leveraging the media? How are you tapping into other people's audiences by creating a virtual book tour through podcast interviews where you're going on other people's podcasts? Because that's the new media in 2025. Old school, they would try to hit up all the radio stations. In 2020, they would try to hit up all the radio stations. Now, you still need to try to get on the news, but old school would try to go to the radio stations. 2025, no, we're hitting up podcasts. Podcasts are our generation's form of the radio stations. That's what it is. You need to have your own, and you also need to be tapping into other people's. Okay. Oftentimes, when people think about increasing their sales and all of that, they immediately try to go hire a messaging coach, or they try to go, get their website redone, or they hire somebody to do some funnels. You can hire somebody to set some funnels up for you all day. But if you don't have the traffic to go through it, if your language isn't on point, if you're not clear with the problem that you solve, and if you don't have an offer somewhere in there, it's not going to convert. And I'm telling you right now, for any expert, for any thought leader, having a high level and high quality book is the absolute best product that you can have in your business. Number one, it demonstrates mastery of your subject and your topic. Number two, it nurtures your audience because you're able to connect to them through the storytelling while also teaching important tips and strategies. And number three, it helps them to convert quicker. You're going to convert a reader into a client much quicker than any other type of, say, downloadable PDF or anything like that. Number four, you can sell it in multiple ways. So you take the time to create one product, but in that one product, you actually end up with 4: paperback, hardcover, ebook, Kindle version, actually 5: paperback, hardcover, Kindle version, audiobook, and downloadable PDF. It's one of the only products that you can create one time and get 5 for 1, that you can sell on multiple platforms in multiple ways and reach multiple audiences and different types of learners all at one time. And it's one of the only things that you can create that literally will last the rest of your life. You don't have to worry about technological changes. You know what? Because information is infinite. It lasts forever. You don't have to worry about administration changes. You don't have to worry about any of those things. Not when you are working in the knowledge economy. There's always going to be a need for information. And it's your responsibility, especially after you have spent decades mastering your craft. It's your responsibility to package it and teach it to other people to help them get breakthroughs in their lives, in their careers, in their finances, and in their businesses. I'll see you guys there. You guys have a great rest of your evening.